Okay, hello everyone. I hope I'm audible to all of you. So I was just waiting for other people. I can see 86 people have joined in now. It is expected that more than 80 people should attend this session. That's why I was waiting. Okay. So yes, all of you just let me just know whether I'm audible or not and whether my screen is visible or not. Just let me know yes or no. Then I can continue. Okay. Yes, you are saying yes. Thank you. So let's start. Let's start with the point where we left yesterday. So in the yesterday's session, in last session, we have seen some basic terms. We talked about the terms like what do you mean by data, right? We have seen what is data. Then we have seen what is database. Then what's the difference between database and what do you call it as data warehouse, right? After that, we talked about something called as DBMS, then RDBMS. And once that is done, we have seen the different examples of databases like Oracle, MySQL. We talked about that. We have seen what is what type of a database is RDBMS database, and after that we talked about types of data, right? So here, in case of types of data, we talked about something like structured data, right? Then we talked about something like semi-structured data. So I will just try to put all the points whatever we have discussed in the last session. And after that, we talked about something called as quasi-structured data. And one more, that is nothing called unstructured data. Okay. These are the points which we have discussed in the last session. And one more point is, I just introduced a definition of big data. Okay, we have seen some important points about big data. So we have seen that data is nothing but just a raw material, right? Data is just a raw material. Yeah, one more important point is information, right? We have seen what's the difference between data and information. So when I asked you people what is data, many of you were saying that it's a collection of information. So actually, data is not a collection of information. Data is different and information is different. They are not same, right? So that's what the important point is in the yesterday's discussion. So data is just a raw material. Information is processed data, right? From data we get information, right? Whenever data is processed, whenever data is clean, we are going to get something which is called as information. Information is something which is from which we are going to make decisions, from which data analysts or business analysts are going to make some analysis. Okay, and then database is a collection of related data. It's a collection of related data, and data warehouse is also a database. The difference between database and data warehouse is that database stores current data, data warehouse stores historical data. Example is OLTP, online transaction processing, right? And example of this one is OLAP, online analytical processing. So size of the data warehouse is bigger as compared to databases. Those are the differences between database and data warehouse. Otherwise, data warehouse is also a database. Okay. After that, we have discussed some other points. For example, we talked about DBMS. DBMS, database management system, is just a software, right? That's what we have seen. And DBMS is on the top of database, which is on the top of a hardware. And then there is something called as RDBMS. R in RDBMS stands for Relational Database Management System, and relation in database terminology means table. So the data which is in the tabular form, right, that can be stored in RDBMS kind of a database. That's what we are talking about. Then types of data. This is something important, which actually is used in data science, machine learning, right? All these things. So types of data. Structured data, in short, tabular data is called as structured data. The data which can be stored in the form of rows and columns. That type of data is called as structured data. So tabular data is structured data. Semi-structured data, the best example of semi-structured data I told you is XML database, right? Which actually makes use of something called as tags. So we have seen this particular example, name. I want to store a name as Sachin. So it is actually stored in between the tags, angular brackets, right? And this is how the tag is actually closed. So semi-structured data, XML database is the best example of semi-structured data. And then there comes something called as quasi-structured data. The example of quasi-structured data we have seen was clickstream data. So what I had done in that case, I shown you, I opened one link, I just Google something and I got some results. At that time, the contents of the address bar were changing, right? So whatever generated in the address bar, that was the example of a clickstream data, and that is nothing but quasi-structured data. So clickstream data is the example of quasi-structured data, which can be used for knowing that which type of website a particular user actually visits many number of times. That kind of analysis can be done with the help of quasi structured data. And yes, there are different examples also, right? So clickstream data is nothing but the example of a quasi structured data. And finally, we talked about last type of a data, that is called as unstructured data. So here we have seen the data which cannot be put in tables is unstructured data, like audio data, video data, right? And images, social media data like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, WhatsApp messages, email, sensor data, and so on. All that kind of data is going to be unstructured data. And finally, we started with the last term, that is nothing but big data. Okay, so these are some of the things which we have discussed in the last session. Now, just to talk about this particular term, big data. So what we have seen in case of big data, the name itself tells you actually what it is. So big data we have already seen. Data is nothing but raw material, and the word big is, you are already knowing the dictionary meaning of the word big, right? So big data itself tells you what is in the big data. So it is a data which is very huge in size. But to be more precise, to define this particular term big data, we have actually tried to define it, or try to understand it, try to understand with the help of five V's, right? So I will just try to listen those five V's once again. That is nothing but volume. The first V is volume, right? The second V is velocity, so volume, velocity, and then the third V is variety. This is what we have seen. And then the fourth V is varsity, and the last fifth V is value. Earlier there were three V's only: volume, velocity, and variety. But later on, you will see that people have added these two V's also: varsity and value. So let's try to discuss this thing once again. So as I told you that definition of big data, the data which is very big, very much big in size. But how much big? Whether in kilobytes, megabytes, or gigabytes, or what? So that's why these five V's are going to help you to understand what is big data actually. Okay. So there is no upper limit to that, right? Okay, that for example, okay, the size of the data is this much GB, then only it is called as big data. It's not like that actually. It depends on these five ways. So volume is nothing but it talks about this speed actually talks about the size of the data. So how much big? That means maybe in terabytes or petabytes or zettabytes. I told you, right? K is to power 21 zeros. So volume actually talks about size of the data. Velocity is nothing but what? Velocity talks about the speed with which the data travels, the speed with which the data moves from source to destination and vice versa. That is called as velocity. Okay. For example, I give you the example of sensor data, or just take example of driverless cars in which we have a lot of sensors. We talk about robots in which you have a lot of sensors, right? So automation, so velocity. So the data actually travels with very high speed. So high speed and very huge size. That is big data. Variety is nothing but different types of data: structured data, semi-structured data, quasi-structured data, unstructured data, audio, video, social media data, sensor data. So different varieties of data. Data is coming from different sources. It can be coming from some database like MySQL, Oracle, MongoDB. It can be coming from some other platforms, other like frameworks like Hadoop, HBase, IoT, Kafka, some messaging services like Kafka. There are a lot of services. It might be coming from some Excel file, it might be coming from some CSV file, it might be coming from some text file, and so on. Variety of data can be there, right? It can be tabular data, it can be unstructured data. So variety of data also comes under big data. And then varsity. Varsity, I told you, varsity is nothing but the trustworthiness. That means the source from which the data is being fetched, whether that source is trustworthy source or not, or whether it is generating some fraud data, right? Because data should also not be from some fraud source. Because if it is like that, then it is going to be very problematic for some days, maybe in future for that particular business, for that particular model. So the varsity actually talks about the trustworthiness of the data. And then value. Value is nothing but the, what you can say, the outcome, value in terms of money, right? Whether that particular data is helpful to create any value to the business or not, value in terms of money or value maybe in terms of profit, whether it is helpful to create the value in terms of money or value in terms of profit or not. So these are the 5 V's which talk about big data: volume, velocity, variety, varsity, and value. I hope everyone has understood these 5 V's. Right? As I told you, if anyone has any question in between, just send your question in the chat box. I will be happy to answer that. So till this point, I hope everyone is clear. Okay. Now talking about this particular point, introduction to data science. So let's start with the first point itself, as per your syllabus, introduction to data science. Now, to understand this particular point, whenever we say data science, there are different terms which will come across, right? So I will just try to differentiate between all those terms and make you aware about where actually data science comes into picture. I hope everyone is able to see this black screen. Okay. Now, to understand this particular first point, introduction to data science, definitely we will go to the definition, the bookish definition of data science. We'll try to talk about that one also. But let me clear some other points whenever we talk about data science. What are the other points which are going to come into picture? Right. That means I want to talk about the terms which are related to data science. For example, here, as we want to see, and many of you might have seen this kind of a diagram. What is data science? This is what we want to talk about, right? But along with this, I will talk about what do you mean by. Let's choose something different color here so that it will be easy for you to differentiate. I'm going to talk about machine learning. In short, only I will be explaining you what is machine learning, right? So we will see the difference between data science and machine learning also, right? And once that is done, I will talk about something like artificial intelligence. So where actually artificial intelligence comes into picture, where actually data science comes into picture, and where machine learning comes into picture, right? So data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and you might have heard about something like deep learning also. So we will see where deep learning comes into picture, and we will try to differentiate between all these stuff. So this is all just to make or to understand what is data science as per your syllabus, right? And along with this, we will also try to talk about some terms like what is computer vision, right? And maybe what is natural language processing. We will try to talk about that also. So let me just try to start with what is artificial intelligence. Why am I starting with artificial intelligence first? I will tell you. Okay. So you might have come across this kind of a diagram many times, but yes, I will be talking about two different perspectives. So you will see people having different definitions for artificial intelligence and data science. I will talk about both of those, right? So, and I will also tell you which one I prefer and which one should prefer actually, and which one is more realistic. So, first of all, I am going to talk about artificial intelligence, and that is nothing but I will deem it as AI. Many of you might have heard about this particular word many times. It is not limited to any branch, particular branch. You might be from computer, IT, EMPC, mechanical, electrical, any branch you might be, anyone can learn artificial intelligence, right? So it's if you people are having some doubts that okay, I am from some different background, will I be able to understand data science, machine learning? Yes, absolutely, because you are the people who are required. You are the people who are with the domain knowledge, and that's what is important in this space, right? That's why, as I told you, that I'll be discussing each and everything from basic. Even though someone might be aware about all these things already, maybe this might be a revision kind of a thing for you, right? But yes, those who are not knowing, for them it will be something new. Just try to learn this subject in such a way that you'll be able to develop some projects later on. That's what my target is. Always remember, I already told you on the first day itself. Right. So artificial intelligence. Why am I discussing artificial intelligence first? So let me tell you why is it so. Because artificial intelligence is the umbrella, is the bigger umbrella. Everything actually is going to come under AI. Always remember artificial intelligence, everything, whether it is data science, machine learning, or deep learning, natural language processing, or computer vision, whatever it may be, everything is going to come under artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, AI is the bigger umbrella. Now, what do you mean by this? In a short, if I want to introduce you to this particular term, that is AI. So artificial intelligence means to enable computers. So I will just write it down in short. To enable computers to think. That is nothing but artificial intelligence. To enable computers to think. It is called as artificial intelligence, or to think like humans. That is nothing but the goal of AI or artificial intelligence. So AI, in simple words, if I want to make you understand, it is nothing but to make or to enable computers to think like humans. That is nothing but artificial intelligence in short. But that is not what our topic is. That's why I'm just giving you a simple definition because AI itself is a very, very big topic, right? So that's why I just try to understand this is what is called as artificial intelligence. If someone is not able to understand, you can ask me. I will try to go and I will try to elaborate all these terms. So here we are just trying to talk about theory. Later on, I will be showing you some hands-on examples also. Where we are going to make use of data science and machine learning, and I will be showing you some projects also. So just be there and try to understand each and everything whatever I am trying to talk about. Now, after artificial intelligence, which is nothing but to enable computers to think like humans. Now, let me talk about what you understand by machine learning. So, machine learning, I will try to denote it as ML. ML is a short form for machine learning. So, ML, where it is going to where it is going to come now. So, ML is going to come somewhere here. Machine learning is going to come somewhere here. Now, what is this? What is machine learning? How you can define machine learning? So, machine learning can be defined as, again, there are a lot of definitions of AI, a lot of definitions of machine learning we'll be able to see. But here we are just trying to make a sense out of all these terms. Just try to understand the terms in simple way. Okay, so machine learning is nothing but bunch of tools. You can say it's bunch of, and to be more precise, it's a bunch of statistical tools. Okay? Machine learning is nothing but bunch of statistical tools to learn. And to learn from what? To learn from data. And what is data? Data is nothing but raw material. That's what we have seen in our first session, right? So machine learning is a bunch of statistical tools to learn from data. That's what machine learning is. And then there are about 16, 17 machine learning algorithms. There are different techniques of machine learning. And we will try to talk about one or two projects. As I told you, we will try to make up some algorithms out of those, and we will try to develop some models in machine learning. Okay, so that's what machine learning is. It's a bunch of statistical tools to learn from data. Which are those statistical tools? We will try to talk about that. Okay, so in a short, in a nutshell, that's what machine learning is. It's a bunch of statistical tools which help computers to learn from data. Now, moving to the third term. So see, again I will say machine learning itself also is a very, very big term, right? So that's why I'm just trying to define it in a short. Now let's move to the next term, and that is but deep learning. So I will just try to denote it as DL. So deep learning, where it is going to come into picture here. So deep learning is going to come somewhere here. DL or deep learning is going to come somewhere here. Now what is deep learning? Again, let's try to define what is deep learning. So deep learning is, as compared to these things, machine learning or AI, we can say deep learning is somewhat more recent term. Maybe since 2006, 7 or 8, it is there. Okay, and deep learning is all about using something called as multi-layered neural network. Okay, it makes use of something called as multi-layered neural network. Okay, so what is neural network actually? So you might be knowing about something called as neurons. In human body, in human brains, human body, there are some neurons which are present, and with the help of neurons only we are able to sense all the things, right? So deep learning is about deep learning is using something about which is called as multi-layered neural network. There are different architectures which are present, which one needs to know whenever one needs to understand what is deep learning. For example, there is something called as convolutional neural network, artificial neural network, recurrent neural network. But yes, this is not the part which you are going to concentrate. That's another completely different story. And deep learning also, it's a very, very big topic. Itself is a very, very big topic, right? So that's why I'm just again in a short I'm trying to explain you what is deep learning. So it's a very much more recent term as compared to others, and it is all about using something called as multi-layered neural network, and these are the architectures which are available in deep learning: convolutional neural network, artificial neural network, and recurrent neural network. Okay, and you might be knowing about right now there's a huge impact of AI and what people refer to as Google's AI system. So you might be knowing about something called as Google's artificial intelligence system. Some of you might have heard about those who are uh, interested in this all these latest technologies. They might have read somewhere there is something called as Google's artificial intelligence system. Right? Now talking about this Google's artificial intelligence system, these systems are mostly referring to Google's deep learning system. Google's artificial system actually makes use of something called as Google's deep learning system. So some of the most important advances in artificial intelligence in the last 10 to 12 years have been happening in this small area, which is called as deep learning. And deep learning is a part of machine learning. Right? So that's what in a short about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. And now let's try to come to our point, what we mean by data science and where it is going to come in this picture. Let's try to talk about that. So for this, I will try to tell you two aspects. The first aspect, many people you will hear many people saying that data science is actually under artificial intelligence, right? But what I will prefer is, or what I have really see again, I have read different books, I have read different articles. So what I feel that which one is the more correct way to understand what is data science. So I will write down data science, or I will in this Venn diagram I will represent data science somewhere here. I will represent data science somewhere here. Okay, so data science. What I told you, many people again that way I'm not saying that it is wrong. That's also right. Many people will say that data science is under this AI circle. Yes, that's absolutely right, right? But to be more precise, I will say that data science has everything what AI has, right? But it also has some other things. I'm not saying that that is 100% wrong. Yes, that is also right. But to be more precise, this is what I will prefer. Data science is actually, I can represent data science like this with the help of this Venn diagram. Okay, let's try to understand what is data science. Again, we are not going to talk about a book definition. We will just try to understand this in a simple term. And then later on, when we will see the definitions, then it will be easy for you people to understand what actually it means. And when later on we will see some practical hands-on examples, at that time we will understand, okay, this is what we can do in data science field. Right? So data science, you can see with the help of this particular figure, with the help of this particular Venn diagram, here you can see data science has some overlap with artificial intelligence technique, right? With machine learning technique, and not so much overlap with deep learning technique, right? But data science also has other areas like this, which is not overlapping with any of them, any of the AI, ML or DL. There is some area in data science which is not overlapping with any of them, right? So in a nutshell, data science is all about understanding or making sense of data, right? So how I can define data science in simple words? It is nothing but understanding, or to be more precise, making sense out of the data, making sense of data. That is nothing but data science. So data science is all about understanding or making sense of data. Right? And you might have heard about in your syllabus, those people who have gone through the syllabus, they might have also come across the word which is called as visualization or visualizing. So this particular thing, visualization. Visualization or visualizing data is a very important aspect of data science, right? And for all these areas, you talk about whether it's a data science, whether it's a machine learning, artificial intelligence, or deep learning. For all these areas, you are going to require some tools and some techniques, right? So you might have heard many people saying that, okay, if you want to learn data science, then you should be very, very good at mathematics. And see, I'm saying that you should not be expert in mathematics, but at least you should have a basic knowledge of mathematics. Whatever we have learned in school, that's more than enough. So it's not like that you should be a very expert in mathematics. Because I can tell you, because I already worked in the projects which are in data science or machine learning or deep learning. That's why from my experience only I can tell you that it is not going to make any difference. Whatever the branch you belong, it does not make any difference, or it is not going to stop you to learn to learn either data science or machine learning or artificial intelligence or deep learning. Believe me, I have seen people even from BCom and they're doing MBA and they're coming to data analytics. So that's what the picture is actually, right? Okay, so I was talking about whatever the field, whether it's a data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, or deep learning. For all these areas, there are some fundamental tools which are going to be required. Right now, what are those fundamental tools which one can think of whenever one wants to learn about all these techniques? So let me just try to list down all those fundamental tools. So all of them, AI, ML, deep learning, or data science, they are going to make use of some fundamental tools. Okay. Now, what are the fundamental tools? So you might have heard many people saying that okay, you need a knowledge of probability. Again, I will say that just the basics of probability. And in this course, wherever you are going to require this sort of things, I'll be telling you all those things in advance, or at least I'll be making sure that everyone is aware about all these things. Okay, so you should have a knowledge about probability, basic things. You should have knowledge about basics of statistics. What is mean, median, mode, standard deviation, and all those things. Right? You should have an idea about something called as linear algebra. These are some of the fundamental tools which are going to be used by data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and deep learning. Okay, and along with linear algebra, you should be knowing about something called as matrix algebra. Okay, sometimes maybe what is eigenvalue, what is eigenvector, what are the different types of matrices which are available, what is identity matrix, and so on. Okay, and many times you require something called as numerical optimization. Okay, so numerical optimization is also one of the fundamental tools which is required for data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and deep learning. And yes, last but not the least, you should have a knowledge about some programming language, or I can say computer programming. Right? So these are the fundamental tools which one needs to know if you want to understand or work in any of these fields. Right? But again, I will repeat that it's not hard and fast rule that you should be aware about all this. Right? So see, Sharon is saying that sir, here you have the data science as subset of AI, ML, and deep learning. What extra things the data science have compared to AI, DL, ML? So first of all, Sharon, I am not. That's why I am not clearly mentioned here data science as a complete subset of AI. That's why see these are the things which are going to be there, which are going to be different as compared to artificial intelligence, machine learning, or deep learning in data science. Now his question is, what are those things which are different in data science as compared to all these things? See, that's why I told you both the perspectives. Actually, many times what you will see is data science is just a part of artificial intelligence, right? But, and I say that that is not wrong. That is absolutely right. But if I say that data science has something extra as compared to those two, why I say this? Because it all depends on domain, right? Suppose healthcare domain is there. Now, what will happen in case of data science? Data science, at the end of the day, data science is also going to make use of all these fields. But whenever we talk about artificial intelligence, so many things like robotics, right? Those are going to come into picture, like maybe driverless cars. They are going to come into picture, right? In this artificial intelligence. So it all depends on domain. I hope Sharon, you are getting my point. But still, I will say that many times you will see that data science is going to be the part of AI only. No, you cannot go and you cannot mention the things which are going to differentiate data science from artificial intelligence. Because if I talk about something like EDA is nothing but explorative data analysis. So explorative data analysis is a part of data science only. But if you want to go and if you want to make use of AI and work on some project, obviously you need to do explorative data analysis. It's a part of data science. So this is one thing I can say it's a part of data science which can be used in artificial intelligence, right? But I will again tell you that it is many times, maybe 99% you will say that data science is a part of artificial intelligence only. That's why I told you people that AI is the bigger umbrella, right? AI is the bigger example. Everything is going to come under AI. Yes, they go hand in hand. That's right. I hope it's clear now, Sharon. Okay, that's a good question. Obviously, everyone should have got that kind of question. But yes, it all depends on domain. But yeah, if you talk about machine learning, deep learning, they are clearly the part of or the subset of artificial intelligence. That's why I told you. See, even if after this time, after this session, even if in some books, if you see, maybe if you see data science mentioning like this, completely overlapping with AI, that's also correct. It is not wrong. So that's also correct. Okay. So this one, this portion also they will call it as completely overlapping with AI. This portion also they will call it as data science. So at that time, it should not be there should not be any confusion in your mind, right? But why I written it like this? Because it all depends on the domain. So whatever Sharon said, that's absolutely right. Yes, AI and yes, they go hand in hand. So it all depends on the domain of the AI, right? Now coming to our point. As I told you that there are some fundamental tools which are going to be required for data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and deep learning. So these are the fundamental tools, right? Probability, statistics, linear algebra, matrix algebra, numerical optimization, computer programming. And many times what happens, people when they see this kind of words, when they see, they actually feel that okay, it's really very hard to understand. It's really very hard to learn all these things. It's actually not. So believe me, it's actually not. As I told you that I have seen people from different backgrounds. They are performing really very well. I will show you people who have written machine learning books and they are from mechanical background or some ANTC background or some other background. They have written the books, right? So don't actually fear to this kind of words. Generally, whenever we say math, people actually fear. It should not be like that, right? So very basic things one should know about it. And I already told you in this course, if you feel that okay, I do not know, if you do not know these things, I can go and I can just give an introduction to that or whatever is required to understand all these things. I will tell you in advance. Right? So yes, I just wanted to list down all these things. This is what data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and deep learning is, and this is what the difference between them is. Right? In a short, because each one of them is a very big part. Right. And when I talked about computer programming, this particular last point. So computer programming again, I will say that computer programming is not that much important, but yes, if you know, if you have very good hands-on on that, that's very good. So maybe in this course we are going to make use of Python for data science. You can make use of R. Again, I will be, as I said, I will be comparing R and Python also. Yeah, but that's not a big issue. So one can go and make use of Python for data science. One can go and make use of R for data science, and even you can go and you can make use of languages like C, C++. Even Java can be used. But many people prefer these two. Why? There are reasons. See, again, I will say that it's not. Then it does not mean that these are not good. Absolutely, they are. But Python and R has something like which is going to be really very useful or which make the things easy for data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, or deep learning, right? So yes, it can be Python, R, C, C++, Java, and you might have heard something called as Ruby. There are different languages which are coming to market. But yes, the basic things are not going to go anywhere. So one should be very much good with the basic things, right? So yes, these are some of the programming languages which one can make it. Right? And again, I will repeat, these are not the only definitions. There are a lot of other definitions which are available for all these terms. Okay, and all these areas are massive, they are big. And deep learning out of all these things, deep learning area is a very fast evolving area. So generally, whenever I cover all those areas of deep learning, which are suppose if you want to learn deep learning, or maybe suppose if you want to learn machine learning. So what I generally do is I go and I try to concentrate on fundamental areas, fundamental topics. So with the help of that, people can go and people can build up and people can explore more. And they can learn the things on their own. This is how actually I most of the times try. Okay. So yes, this is what in a brief about all these things. I hope everyone is clear till this point. If anyone is having any doubt, you can. Okay. I'm just going to clear this now. and we will try to talk about the next part. Okay, so we will try to concentrate on, as per our syllabus, we will try to continue the discussion with this point, data science. So, but yeah, remember these things, whatever I told you. So let me clear this. Yes, introduction to data science. Now, what is it? So, as I told you, if you go and if you try to look into some book, you will be able to find out that there are a lot of definitions you will be able to see. So, many times people will say that data science is a, or you will find out that data science is something like it's an interdisciplinary field. Right? Now, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by this? In books, you will find out this kind of definition. It's an interdisciplinary field. What do you mean by this? That means the projects or the modules which you are going to build, which are going to be built in data science field, those projects belong to, they do not only belong to only one field, right? They belong to different fields. Maybe suppose if you talk about driverless car, so there will be computer people required, there will be mechanical people required, maybe from some other background people are required, maybe from statistical background people will be required. So data science is actually an interdisciplinary field which makes use of scientific methods, right? That's some of the words I will try to list down. So, data science actually makes use of, it's an interdisciplinary field which makes use of scientific methods. It makes use of different processes. It makes use of different algorithms, which I am going to talk about. And in your first unit itself, they have mentioned some algorithm which is nothing but dimensionality reduction technique. So here we are going to talk about something called as principal component analysis. This is one of the algorithms which can be used in machine learning and data science. So I will talk about that one. Right. So yes, data science makes use of different algorithms. If someone is not aware about algorithm is just a set of instructions. Right. You might be knowing about flowchart. So flowchart is a pictorial representation of algorithm. Okay, so data science is an interdisciplinary field which makes use of scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and different systems. Why? Why it makes use of systems? Systems to extract knowledge from different sources. Now, what are those sources? That we will talk about. Okay, so it makes use of scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems to extract knowledge and insights, which is nothing but information. Okay, and insights from many structural and unstructured data. Okay, so that's why I told you about structured and unstructured data, quasi-structured data, and structured data, and semi-structured data. So, in a short, if I want to define data science once again, data science is an interdisciplinary field which makes use of scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems to extract knowledge and insights from many structural and unstructured data. Okay? Or data science is related to something called as data mining. That's why I introduced you to the term data mining first, right? Data science is related to data mining. It is related to something called as machine learning, okay, and it is related to something called as big data. Okay, so I will again repeat. Data science is an interdisciplinary field which makes use of scientific methods, processes, and algorithms and systems to extract knowledge and insights and from structured data and unstructured data. Okay? And it is related to something called as data mining, machine learning, and big data. Right? And what is data mining? We have already seen. Actually, we did not talk about data mining. We talked about data warehouse, and data warehouse can be used for data mining. Let me just tell you about this particular term, data mining. Okay, I think I talked about data warehouse, not data mining. So let me just introduce you about data mining. In a simple words, data mining is nothing but finding the patterns out of the data. Finding out patterns out of data is called as data mining. Now, what do you mean by pattern? Pattern is nothing but a particular type of a data. For example, you might have heard about something called as on your mobile phone. You might have heard about something called as Google Photos, right? So if you take any picture with your mobile phone, right? Suppose if you take a selfie, right? So what will happen? That picture will be saved in a folder in which all the selfies are there. Or if you take a picture of your family, that picture will be stored in the folder in which you have all the family photos. Or if you take a picture of any, maybe if you take a picture with your friends, so that picture will be stored in a folder in which you have uh, uh, photos of all the friends, right? Or clicks with all the friends. Or if you go and if you try to click a picture of nature, right? That will be stored in the folder where all the pictures of about where all the pictures are related to nature only, right? So what is this? What is this? Nothing but this is nothing but data mining or machine learning. That how it actually comes to know. So actually, machine learning makes use of data mining. It is to some extent similar to data mining. So in short, data mining is nothing but finding out the patterns of the data, right? So whether it's a selfie or a family photo or a photo with a friend or a nature's photo. So these are nothing but what? These are nothing but different patterns. So to detect those patterns, for detecting those patterns, there is something called as data mining. If the word itself actually tells you what it is. Mining. You might have heard about the words like gold mining, right? Or gold mines or coal mine. What happens in coal mine? People go very deep inside the uh, inside those mines and they try to get the coal. Right? Or they maybe many times in different situations you have seen that there are different gold mines. So try to get or try to fetch the important things. That's what data mining is going to do. It is going to find out the patterns as per the requirement and these are the patterns, right? So data science actually makes use of big data, machine learning, and data mining. And machine learning is obviously the collection of statistical tools which actually helps the machines to learn from that data, right? So that is what the definition of a data science I can tell you about. Right? Again, I will say that that is not the only possible definition. There are different definitions which you will be able to come across if you go and if you try to read. We'll be telling you about different books also. So just now we have seen data science is an interdisciplinary field which makes use of uh, machine learning, big data, and data mining, right? And which makes use of scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems to extract the knowledge and insight from many structured data and unstructured. Okay. So, for example, in other words, data science also can be defined. For example, data science actually provides meaningful information which is based on large amounts of complex data or big data. Right? Data science, or I can say data-driven science. To be more precise, data science I can call it as data-driven science. Instead of data science, I will call it as data-driven science because it is totally dependent on data. Without data, is nothing is going to happen. Data is the all. From data only everything is possible. If you do not have data, you are not going to get anything, right? So data science, or to be more precise, I can call it as data-driven science. Okay? It actually combines different fields of work in statistics and computation, right? So data science, you can define it as combination of statistics and computing. Right? Now, what are the statistics? So, probability, linear algebra, matrix algebra, all those things. What is this computing? So, computer programming languages are going to compute it. So, data science actually, sorry, it actually combines different fields of work in statistics and computation. For what? For interpreting data for decision making purpose. So, decision making is going to be objective of all these things. Right? Decision making is one of the most important objectives why there is a need for data science. Right? So what happens is with the help of this decision making, how this decision making is done again based on data only. Right? But to get the insightful information from the data, all these things are going to be very, very helpful. It should not happen that you are going to make a decision based on the data and that decision is not correct. So it's absolutely going to uh, get you into loss, right? Or that business is going to be in the loss if the decision is not correct, right? So yes, these are some of the definitions of data science. Okay. Now we will try to talk about this particular thing also. What is data science life cycle and what actually happens in data science life cycle? For that, let me try. So whether it's a data science life cycle or machine learning life cycle, that is one and the same thing because same type of steps you are going to see in both of them. Okay, but in if you talk about whatever we talked about till now, everything is actually based on this one. So what happens is, we just try to give an overview. What happens is, we need to get data from different sources, right? Now, what are the different sources from which the data can be fetched? So, as I told you, there are a lot of different sources from which data can be fetched. It all depends on problem statement. It all depends on what type of a project it is, or maybe I can say it all depends on the domain, right? So whenever client comes and client asks to develop some project, obviously that project is going to belong to some domain, maybe some financial domain, maybe uh, some security domain, right? The domain can be anything, and that's why depending on the domain or depending on the customers, the data source for fetching the data, right, can be different data sources. There can be different data sources for fetching the data. Because see, we need to start with data only. And to get data, there are different data sources. For example, data might be coming in batches. No, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by batches? That means client is not going to provide the data at once. Client is going to provide the data in parts, right? So maybe the client is going to send you 10 files first, maybe then 15 files, then again 10 files, then 20 files, and so on. So that is called as data coming in batches. Okay, or data might be coming from via streaming. Now what do you mean by streaming? The best example of this one is the IPL matches, right, which are going on. So if you want to go and if you want to see IPL matches on maybe for example uh, you talk about Netflix, right? You go and you try to see different movies, right? So video streaming we call it as. So live data you are going to see here, right? Or Disney Hotstar if you talk about, you are able to see live matches. Obviously, you need to go and you need to pay for it. So this streaming data can be a source, right? Data might be coming from some techniques which are called as some messaging techniques, right? So there are different messaging techniques. I don't know whether people are aware about it or not. There is something called as Kafka. If you people have heard about big data, or if you have studied some subjects like related to big data or Hadoop, you might have come across this particular term, Kafka. Kafka is one of the messaging techniques. So which can be used to fetch the data. Right? So that can be a source. A source can be FTP. FTP is nothing but file transfer protocol. Many of you might be aware about it. So file transfer protocol is nothing but one of the protocols which makes use of port number 21. Right? So you are able to send and receive the files. It is because of this protocol. Okay. So that can be a source. It can be some API, application programming interface. The source can be some database, as I told you. It can be MySQL, Oracle, MongoDB, DB2, and so on. There are different databases which are available in the market. Okay. And the source can be some data warehouse also, right? Or maybe the source can be some ETL pipeline. So what do you mean by ETL? ETL actually stands for extraction, transformation, and loading. Later on, maybe we will talk about this. But yes, these are some of the sources. Along with this, the source data might be coming in CSV files, comma separated value. I will show you how it looks like. Those who are not aware about it, don't worry. Okay, we will be playing with this kind of a data most of the times. The source can be coming from text files. The source can be coming from .xlsx files, or maybe the source can be coming from .json files, JavaScript object notation, with the files which are actually uh, which stores the data in the form of key and value pair. Those are called as JSON files. So key and value pair, maybe if you are aware about basic Python, you might be knowing about something called as dictionary. This is how we store the data in dictionary in the terms of key and value pair. For example, I want to store the name. So what I will do is the key will be name and the value of that key is Sachin. So I want to store name Sachin, so I will store it like this. Right? Name is a key and value is Sachin. That is called as key value pair. Okay, so yes, these are some of the sources. So it can be batches, it can be through streaming, it can be through mapping techniques, it can be through some protocols like FTP, application programming interface, it can be through some database, maybe through some data warehouse, it can be through some data ETL pipeline, extraction, transformation, loading pipeline. The source can be CSV file, the source can be text file, the source can be Excel, JSON, .json file, or if the source can be MongoDB database, and so on. So these are some of the sources from which data can be fetched. So the first step in data science lifecycle is going to be data fetching, or in generally we call it as data ingestion. Remember this one. I will be showing you one flow diagram for that. It is called as data ingestion, which is nothing but data fetching. So data fetching can be from all these sources, right? So that's the first step in data science lifecycle. So maybe when we talk about, when we start with this particular topic, I'll be showing you a complete flow diagram for that, and I will be telling you each and everything what happens in those steps, and I will try to explain you uh, each and every step and how to implement that. That we will see once we are done with this particular. So I'll be implementing all those things in Python. I'll be showing you all the steps to implementation. Okay, so yes, that's about data science and data science lifecycle. If anyone is having any question, you can ask, because for today I will stop here. And one more thing, remember I told you yesterday, always send your roll number, seat numbers in the chat box. That will be your attendance, your name and your seat number. Okay? Because that is what I am going to make use of for your attendance. Yes, all of you send it fast. Those who haven't sent it, and that will be all for today. I hope people are sending. So your roll number, if you are not knowing about it, just send your name. So it will be very efficient way. Roll number and your name. I hope many of them they have sent it. Yes, those who are, and those who sent it, you can drop off. I am going to stop. Yes, I hope everyone done. Okay. Yes, guys, those who are left, send it fast. Anyone remaining? Those who already sent, you can drop off. No problem. Okay, I hope everyone done. Okay, thank you guys. I am going to stop here and then we will meet in the next session. Anyone remaining? Yeah, thank you all.